All right, guys, welcome back. I don't know what happened, but my phone for some reason decided to stop.
Dance instructor.
Second,
That's not Zumba.
let me
That's
stop.
some made.
Stop what I was watching on YouTube. So, we've got all 4 buckets full, draining out the last of the water out of the gravel vac. Let it finish draining out. So this is going to be part 2 to the water change on the fish tanks on the 75. Yeah, this thing is tank is still kind of looking on the bottom. It's all that dust that got kicked up from from moving the lava rocks. So one thing I may do real quick is this. Let me put you guys back in this. Make sure you can see the tank. So I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned. Because we can add actually a little bit more water into these buckets. Let me do this real quick. I want to try and get a little bit more of that dust, that lava rock dust, off the bottom of the tank, off the substrate. So this is the hose that went to my gravel vac. You just pop it off, and you use it like a suction hose. You don't get rocks ejected it. Gotta kick some up. Kind of use this to get some more out of here. Just a little bit more water out of here. So we've got pretty much everything out. We've got all the water we're going to take out of the tank. Next part's going to be dumping out these buckets and putting the water back in. Okay, so that's done. Don't need this anymore. So we're just gonna put that back in the 5-gallon bucket. Move you guys so you can see what I'm doing over there. All right, so now we just take a 5-gallon bucket, take it over here to my sump pump. And dump it in. So that's one bucket down. 3 more to go. And these things are pretty full. That's 2. This will be 3. That's 3. Last one. I love having a sump pump in my basement. Makes it easy for water changes. All right. That's done. Now, sorry, I took the bucket. That done. We go upstairs and we start filling them. Okay. So it goes there. Yes, I can do these. Set you all down for a minute. There. All right. Lock that in. Okay. Okay, guys. Welcome to my mom and dad's kitchen. Now we have to fill these. Like I said, I'm probably only going to show you all filling one or so, because I don't know why, but my phone was like, I'm not going to let you shoot videos anymore. So this will be part 2 to what I shot earlier, that hour and 10 minutes I shot earlier. So I keep my water temperature, I try to get as close to the water temperature of the tank. So maybe a little cooler than that, but for now, this is where we fill, where I fill the buckets right here out of the sink using this. So yeah, so let's get that process started. Wait for the water to warm up just a little bit. Okay, good. So, it actually, believe it or not, it actually doesn't take real long to fill these buckets up. Probably about 2-3 minutes a bucket or so. Yeah. So we get these filled up and then we take them back downstairs one at a time. Because last time I tried to carry 2 down, I thought I was going to fall downstairs. So we get this done, get these buckets filled back up, get the water back in the tank, and then we'll be done. Of course, obviously adding the chemicals and adding the fixtures back in, the decorations and the seat and escaping the tank again. But yeah, we're almost done. Just a little bit. And that, so when you got a big tank like I got, like my 75, this takes, to actually do a thorough water change actually takes quite a long time. Takes a few hours to do it, and like I said, I've got four tanks, and 2 of them are fairly good sized tanks. You know, the 75 gallon and the 29 gallon. So both of those bigger tanks take quite a bit to fill. For the 29 gallon, it's 10 gallons, so it's 2 of these buckets. For the 75, it's 20 gallons for 20 to 25 gallons, so it's 4 or 5 of these buckets. I've got to get some more of these buckets, and now these aren't. I didn't buy these buckets from Home Depot. I actually got these from work. So check the temperature of water again. Just up a little bit more. That's a little too high. You don't want to put water that's either too cold or too hot in, because cold water or hot water could actually shock your fish. And you don't want to do that. So you want to try and get, me personally, what I try to do is I try to get as close to the temperature of the water of the water in the tank. Not spot on because it's hard to do without having being able to set the temperature on on the sink, which you can't do. But I try to get as close to it as possible. And see, I've only been filling this bucket up for just a few minutes, and for probably 2 minutes, and it's already almost full. You know, it's amazing what you can do when you're filling the water out of the sink. You know, instead of trying to use that gravel vac to pull the water out of your tank into these buckets. That's one thing I recommend. If you're thinking about, you know, getting a fish tank, right? And even if it's a 10-gallon, at least get a couple 5-gallon buckets. Everybody in the fish keeping hobby needs a couple 5-gallon buckets. You know. Because you're not going to put your tank, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to put your tank anywhere near a water fixture in your house. You're not going to put it near a sink or anything like that. It's going to be in a bedroom, in a living room, a dining room, somewhere where, you know, you've got to carry water from the sink or wherever you're going to fill your bucket at to the tank. So it's always good to have a couple 5-gallon buckets to have. Makes it easier. Okay, so that's one bucket full. We're going to set this right there. We're going to fill the next one. So that took probably 2-3 minutes to fill. So we've got 4 of them to fill. And then once we get the 4th one filled, we'll take them downstairs and probably put 1 in the tank, 1 or 2 in the tank to get it back up to the minimum level so I can turn the filter back on. Then we'll add the chemicals and then put the last 2 in. I mean, there's already this much water, you know, there's already that much water in there, so there's already that much water in this bucket already, and it's filling, so it's the filling part that doesn't take it's the emptying, it's the actually taking the old water, the old dirty water out of the tank that actually takes the longest, you know, and I try to be as thorough as I can when I'm doing the water change. Get as much gunk and crap out of the tank, but no matter what, you're always going to miss something. You know, that's why we do water changes. So, because you don't want your fish swimming around in that crap for extended periods of time. Because believe it or not, it's not healthy for the fish, because you can get ammonia spikes, and ammonia is not good for the fish. There's a couple, I can't remember if it's nitrite or nitrate that's bad for them, but that's bad for the fish too. Ammonia burns their gills, and you know, everybody knows the fish breathes through its gills and everything like that. So that's why you do water changes, to make sure that your tank stays healthy and you give your fish the best habitat that they can have, and that you can give them. Try to give them the best, the best and most likely to survive. You know, or health or whatever. You get what I'm saying. Right. Yeah, like I said, I started doing these tanks, the 2 of my tanks at well, I think I started the 5 gallon at 8 o'clock, and that took me about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to do. And here I am still doing the 75, and it's almost a quarter after 12. It shows you how long it takes to do a water change on a big tank. It takes quite a bit. You know, and I've got two relatively good sized tanks. I've got, you know, my 75, which you guys have been going through the process of me doing a water change with me in the process of doing a water change, and then I got the 29, which is another fairly good sized tank. Which I got the 29 on the bargain. I went to Feeder Supply and saw it. They had $1 a gallon sale. So, and the tank came with everything. So I paid like $30 for the tank, and then bought the heater for it. Now, if every once in a while you see me reach over behind the bucket doing that, is I'm checking the water temperature. All right, so that's 2. There's 10 gallons sitting there. We got to put 20 or so back in, which we'll probably actually put a little more than 20 in. You know, we took 20 out, we'll probably put a little more than 20 in because the water level was already a little lower when I started the water change. But and so so everybody on my channel knows me mainly for Farm Sim. Are you guys excited about the end of this year, quarter 4 this year, which is October to December, about Farm Sim 22 coming out? Put down in the comments below what brands you hope that they bring to which brands you hope they bring to Farm Sim 22. Me personally, I would like to see them bring Ford, or GMC or Dodge, you know, for pickup trucks. I would love it if they would bring if they were to bring like Peterbilt, Kenworth, you know, for the semis. They have come out and said that there's going to be 400 authentic, 400 vehicles, authentic vehicles. So it's actually 100 more than we already got. We have 319. We're getting 400, so we're getting another 100 and over 100 licensed brands. So tell me in the comments below of either this video or the other one, which is going to be part 1. This is part 2 of the water change because my phone decided to screw up on me. Tell me in the comments below of either video of which what brands you hope to see in Farm Sim 22. I mean, like I said, you guys already know what brands I would like to see. You know, I also like to see a really nice American map in Farm Sim 22, because you guys know me, I'm known for playing American maps. So I'd like to see a really nice American map come into Farm Sim 22. You know, or tell me what crops you think that you would like to see them bring into the game. You know, what new crops do you hope that they would like to see them bring into the game? Or new animal, or whatever. Tell me what you would like to see them bring into the game. So, almost done with filling the 3rd bucket. And another thing about if you do a water change, make sure you got clean hands. Make sure you got clean hands. I usually always wash my hands thoroughly. I wash them first with soap, like Dawn dish soap. Wash my hands really good with Dawn dish soap, and then I wash them again just using just plain hot water, or plain warm water, to make sure I got all the dish soap off my hands. But yeah, anytime you're dealing with actually physically putting your hands in the tank, you want to make sure your hands and your arms are clean and everything like that. So, because you don't want anything that could be on your hands or on your arms to get in the tank. Even when you're feeding the fish, make sure your hands are clean. So that's 3 filled. Here's the 4th one. So, yeah, you always want to make sure your hands are clean before you feed your fish, before you do a water change and everything like that. Because you don't want anything that's on your hands that can get into your tank and harm your fish. We got this one last bucket to fill, and I know I said I was only going to show y'all filling one, but we're almost done. We got the other 3 filled, so we're almost done with the water change. We got a few more minutes to go, and this is taking probably, I'm looking at the time on the record time on my phone, this is probably taking 22 minutes from when I started the video from emptying the buckets, getting everything set up, empty the buckets, and now up here filling. It's taken roughly about 20-something minutes to do that. So. We're almost, like I said, we're almost done doing the water change on the 75 gallon. So, just a few more minutes and we'll be ready to start putting water back in and getting that tank back up and going. So, and like I said, so this will be part 2, because this was all supposed to be one video. Then my phone decided, no, I'm going to stop you from making one long video. So. Sometimes I think my phone hates me. And after I get this done, get the tank and everything all set up, I will, come back and show you guys what, I mean, you guys saw the 5 gallon with what it looked like after I did a water change on it. So you'll get the chance to see what the 75 gallon looks like, and then tomorrow I'll probably make a short video of what they look like about a few hours after a water, the next day after a water change, because the 5 gallon is starting to clear up, starting to get that nice and clear now. But you can really tell the difference the day after you do a water change and how clear and how good of a job you did. So, but we're almost done filling these up. And then we'll get everything downstairs, back down in the basement, and start putting water in. We'll probably put 2 of these in just to get the water level up to the minimum fill line, so I can get the chemicals, or get the water conditioner back in and get it back going again. So, and then we'll probably also put the fixtures back in. Which I didn't show you, but I did kind of shake them off in the buckets to kind of get any loose stuff, any loose food or anything that may have been on them off of them. So we are almost done filling the last bucket. Now, I don't fill these. Some of them may have a little under 5 gallons, some may have a little over 5 gallons. There's the last one. So we're going to take this down just to keep it from falling. You guys are going to come with me. So when I fill my buckets, they may not be 100%, 5 gallons full. They may be a little under, a little over, but there's at least enough water in there to get them pretty full. Get you all set back up to look at the tank. Oh, damn, that's almost perfect. Come up just a bit. Actually, we're going to move you guys over here. We're going to move it over here. Move it right there. Okay, let me come up a little bit. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back upstairs. I'm just going to leave the video running. I'm going to go back upstairs. I'm going to get the 5-gallon buckets. I'm going to come down. We're going to put 2 buckets back in. That should get us up to the minimum fill point on the filter. So we can turn the filter back on. We'll add in our Stress Coat Plus from API. Get that in the tank. This is our water conditioner. They make another one. API makes another one that actually says water conditioner on it. But this one is good for startup and water changes and when you add fish. So I kind of run through this stuff quite a bit. So I'm gonna go get the buckets. I'm gonna go get the water buckets, the 5-gallon buckets full of water, and we'll come down, put 2 of them in the tank, and then we will get everything back up and running. So I will be right back, guys. One. Two. Three. Watch out, Nike. All right. So here's number 4. All right, guys. So, ooh, back up. So I got the 4 water buckets down, but before I add these in, remember how I showed you sitting over here off to the side, that 1-gallon jug that's got some water left in it. We're going to add that first, because I'm probably going to have to make a couple runs to fill it up a couple times to actually bring the water level up to where I want it. So I'm going to grab that. We're going to add that first. In it goes. So that was about a half a gallon of water, because I used this earlier to top off the 29 gallon. And this was full. I put about 29 gallon, took probably about 3 of these. That's about how low it was. So it was about 3 gallons low. So it was actually probably about 26 gallons in that tank. So we're going to set that there. We're going to grab this one first. Put it on the lip. Carefully dump it in. Now I'm trying to be careful when I do this. I don't know if you guys can hear me over. Because one thing is when you actually start adding the water in, the fish will swim away from it. Especially the, So. Alright, so there's 1 bucket in. We'll set this over here to the side. We'll get another one. What are you doing? Watch out, dude. You're fine, Nike. You can stay right there. All right. Here's the second one going in. Now, hopefully, this should put us up to our min fill line, which it did not. So we're going to have to add a third in before we turn the filter back on, which it happens. It's hard to judge, especially when you're taking out the water at 5 gallons at a time, roughly where the minimum fill line on this filter actually happened. Here's the third. Oh, so we're actually going to have to add all 4 in before we can turn the filter on. So, with that, I don't want to turn the filter on until I've actually got the chemicals in. The chemical in, the stress coat. And we're going to give it a little boost of the API stress zinc plus, which is the beneficial bacteria for the tank. So we're going to add a little bit of this too. Probably not much of this, but we are going to add a little bit of it too. So, all right. 5 milliliters per 10 US gallons. Let's see exactly how much I can get out of this. So this is a 75 gallon tank. So we're going to dose it for 80 gallons. So it takes 5 milliliters per 10 US gallons. So on the cap, there's a line. There's 2 lines. One says 5 mil, and one says 10 mil. We're going to fill this up to 10. So that's 20, 40, 60, 80. And there's still a little bit left over. So that's that. That's that one. All right. This one says 5 mils per 10 US gallons for this. So I could legally, I could put this in, but I mean, I'm gonna put it in. I probably should, because this is good for regular cure. Actually, we're not gonna put this in. The API, the other one I put in will be enough. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put the other 5 gallon bucket in, and get the tank running again. So that's it for chemicals. The only reason I put the other stuff in this tank is because this thing had the 5 gallon had a really bad algae bloom. And if you notice the 10 gallon, you can see how it's, or the 75, why did I call this the 10? If you notice the 75, how it's gotten cloudy again, that's from adding the water in. That's from everything getting kicked back up again while I'm adding the water in. Here goes this one. Alright, so we're over the minimum fill line. Okay, so now that that's done, we're over the minimum fill line, we're going to turn the tank back on. Or the filter back on, I'm sorry. Alright, I'm behind the tank. I got to go down here now. Bye-bye. Alright. Tank is now on, but that little 1 gallon jug I got down here is not going to give us enough water to fill this. So I'm going to take probably one of these 5 gallon buckets back upstairs, get it filled, come back down, dump it in, and see where we're at from there. Alright guys, I'm back. So I got my fifth bucket. So in all reality, with where the water level is now, that's 20 gallons. We took out 20 gallons already. We've already added 20 gallons back in. So in all reality, this tank was probably 25 to 27 gallons short. You know, from, you know, or whatever. So we're gonna have to put 25 to 27 gallons back in to get the water level where I want it. That's what I meant to say. So it was probably 5 to 7 gallons low. So I got another 5-gallon bucket here filled up. We're gonna dump it in and see where that puts us at our water level. We've got the filter running, so that's getting the water conditioner moving around in the water and everything like it's supposed to. So let's get this in and see where we're at. I could actually probably get away with filling up one more bucket, which is what I'm going to do, because any water that's left over in the bucket I could always dump down the sump. So I will be right back, guys. And this time I'm actually going to pause the video, so it'll be for you guys. It'll be a second. All right, guys. So I got one more bucket filled up. We're going to add that to the tank, and that will actually fill the water level up to where I like to keep it. You can't tell, but there's probably a good 1/4 inch or so from where the water is actually sitting to where I like to keep it. So we're going to go ahead and add this bucket in, and then that'll be all the water in. And then whatever is left of the bucket, we'll just dump it down the sump pump. So let's add this in. Okay, that's it. So there's probably about 2 gallons left in the bucket. So, get these all back together. And in all honesty, we'll probably leave this water in this bucket. Let's get that there. Stick this here. Now it's time to put on the tops. So, here are the glass lids. Right here, my 2 glass lids. Time to put them back on. Now I know you're probably thinking, Irish, you didn't put the decorations back in. You're right, I didn't. That's because I want to see what this tank looks like with just the lava rocks in it. So, if I like the way it looks with just the lava rocks in it, I'll leave just the lava rocks in it. But, like I also said, I am going to be rescaping this tank with driftwood and the lava rock. So, I want to see what it looks like with just the lava rocks in it. I will take some of those fake plants and put them in, probably in the 10 gallon, some of the littler ones. And I will probably take the sea mines that I had in this tank and put them in the 29, since there is a sunken battleship in the 29 gallon. But, to tell you all exactly how long this took, like I said, I started this with these 2 tanks, I started at 8 o'clock. It is now 1:45 my time, which is I live in the Eastern time zone, so it's 1:45. I live in Kentucky. We're in the Eastern time zone until you get past, I think, E-Town. When you get closer to Bowling Green. So, I started this at 8 o'clock. It is now 1:45 in the afternoon. I started this at 8 o'clock in the morning. Shows you how long it takes to do a tank this size. Now, granted, that is doing a 5-gallon tank on top of it that I did not record, that I did not show you guys me doing the 5-gallon. So I actually started this tank at about a quarter after 8. So how many hours is that? Started at 8:15, 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, 12:15. That's 5 hours, and then you go another 5.5 hours to do this tank by itself, just this tank. So imagine now, like I said, I do want to get bigger tanks. I want to get a 100-gallon tank. I want to get a 200-gallon tank. I want bigger tanks because I want bigger fish. And I want to build that. The mega tank, which is what I'm calling it, which is it's a 400 something to 500 something gallon tank. Imagine how long it's going to take to do that. It'll take probably all day to do that tank once it's built. But I'll have a completely different system by then and be in my own place. I'm living with my parents still. So with that being said, shows you how long it takes to do one of these bigger tanks. This is a 75-gallon tank, and it took 5.5 hours to do it. Okay? But all said and done, it's done. It's changed. It's the water it's done. And it's worth it. Believe it or not, when you're in the fish keeping hobby, you don't just watch your fish. You take care of your fish. You treat your fish when they're sick. You treat your fish when they get a disease or anything like that. It's like the 10-gallon tank. The 10-gallon tank went probably 4 days without a filter in it because I was treating it for ick. And if I had left the carbon filter in there, the carbon filter would have just sucked up all the medicine. I treated this tank for ick once. This tank had ick once. Before I had the Oscars, when it had the other fish and it had my convict cichlids in it, I had to treat this tank for ick. But the thing is the tank is done. This is all part of the fish keeping hobby. It's just like if you keep any other animals, dogs, cats, whatever. You have to take care of them. You have to make sure they're fed. Make sure that if they get sick, that they go to the vet or whatever. The fish are the same way. You have to take care of them. You've got to keep their home clean because this is their home. This is where they live. You've got to keep their home clean. You've got to make sure you're doing your water changes. Got to make sure you're feeding them and everything like that. So this is all part of being a fish keeper, is doing these water changes. And believe it or not, the work is the fun part. Actually doing the water changes. I mean, obviously, it is nice and relaxing to sit down and look at the fish and watch the fish, but doing the actual water changes is the fun part, and taking care of them, and cleaning the tanks, and taking care of the fish. That's the fun part of fish keeping, and that's why I do it. That's why I have 4 tanks in my room. Like I said, I've got over 120 gallons down here altogether, roughly. Just between 3 of them, I've got 90 gallons. And then my 29-gallon, makes it 119 gallons. So altogether, I have 119 gallons worth of water down here that have some beautiful fish in them and everything like that. Now, like I said, tomorrow I will do another video showing you not only the 5-gallon, but the 75-gallon, what they look like after a day after you do a water change. So around 1 o'clock my time, I will shoot another video because it'll have been 24 hours since the water change is done, and you will see a big difference. I mean, you can already tell. I can already see on camera that it is slowly starting to clear up because I can see the light. If you look right about there, that's the light for my heater to let me know that the heater is on and it's warming the water up. But 24 hours later, this tank should be crystal clear. You should be able to see straight through it. Now, this tank does have a blue background on it, a blue water background on it, which I am eventually going to redo. I'm actually thinking about taking that off and covering the top of the tank and actually painting the background. And I think I'm going to probably paint it blue since I have a black fish in there. I don't want the fish to disappear into the background. And not painting the inside, painting the outside, obviously. Painting the outside of the tank. Just on the back. And maybe this one side. I don't know yet. But, I'm sorry, I had to adjust my mustache, which looks like crap. And sorry, like this, guys. Sorry I look like the way I do. I'm not going anywhere today, so I was like, screw it. I'm going to sit around in my PJs all day. But yeah, like I said, tomorrow I'll have another video out tomorrow. And sorry about this being split into 2 videos. Like I said, my phone decided to screw up and jack up on me, and because I had the video paused, the recording paused, so that way, because we were up, the tank was almost the last bucket was almost done filling, and it decided to screw up and say, "You cannot continue recording this video." So like I said, tomorrow I will have a video out, guys, of this tank, of the 75-gallon tank and the 5-gallon tank, what they look like 24 hours after a water change. And they should be, everything hoping, they should be crystal clear. You should be able to see everything in this tank and in the 5. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for coming out today. Thank you for clicking on not only on this video, but on the first one, part 1, which I didn't mean for it to be part 1, but also now part 2 of finishing the tank and everything. Don't forget, like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below of, like I said, of the question of what are you looking forward to most in Farm Sim 22? What brands do you hope they bring? And everything like that. What new crop or new animal? And feel free to comment on the fish tanks. Like I said, I've got 4 of them. I've got my 10 gallons got black skirt tetras in it. My 29's got African cichlids in it, which I absolutely love my African cichlids. I got 2 beautiful bright yellow ones, a blue striped one, and a golden black striped one. They're absolutely beautiful fish. I love African cichlids. They're beautiful. And then of course I've got my Oscars and my crawdad in here. And then my daughter has her little betta in the 5-gallon. Feel free to comment on anything you like in either video. I'm your boy Irish Wolf. Thanks for coming out. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you turn to all notifications to keep up with everything I'm doing here on the channel. Hopefully here soon I will be streaming again. Just waiting for some new mods to come out for Farm Sim, and I haven't been playing my PlayStation lately. I've been playing my Xbox. If you want to friend me on PlayStation or on Xbox Live, PlayStation, it's the same name as the channel, Irish Wolf Gaming. On Xbox, it's Irish240SX, named after my not only my nickname, Irish, but also my favorite car, the Nissan 240SX. Feel free to shoot me a drop on either platform, and make sure y'all have a wonderful day. Don't forget, it's your boy, Irish Wolf. Peace!